SITC fam. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on any podcast platform. Leave us a review wherever you can. And don't forget to subscribe to LL Giselle on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and find us on Facebook at Sonographers in the Cities.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sonographers in the Cities. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Geselle.
Thank you for tuning into this episode. We hope you had a great week. Geselle, do you want to tell everyone what we're talking about today?
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about advice for new grads. So congratulations to all of you spring class of 2023 who are now fully fledged sonographers. A lot of you guys I've seen pass your registries. So congratulations. This one's for you guys. Advice for any new grad sonographer. And we also want to congratulate those of you who are joining the ultrasound community by getting into your programs. So also congratulations to all of you who got into their programs. Yay.
Yes, congratulations.
So this episode is for all of you guys, new grads. This is your advice. Newbies, just listen to this and just see what you're going to get yourself into.
Yes, and hopefully you can take some of the advice in your programs, in clinicals, and when you graduate.
Yeah. So Lynn, she
Yes,
is a
I'm still a new grad.
newly new sonographer still.
I'm baby new.
So now that you're baby new and out there on your own scanning and whatnot, what do you feel you have to say to these new kids on the block?
What I have to say is that ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to be afraid.
Yeah, that's good.
Because every single day I never know that I would encounter like a difficult case or a difficult patient, a difficult encounter with, coworkers, colleagues, people at work. Just if you don't know anything, if you don't know how to handle this, ask your coworker, ask your manager, ask someone to help you. And if you don't know what you're looking at, take a bunch of pictures and then ask. Just ask questions because that's how you learn. And that's like the biggest learning curve once you start, because you only know the minimum, and your growth starts from here.
Nicely said.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, spoken like a true sonographer who's who sounds like you're not a new grad. But yeah, you are definitely living proof that you can do this, after you graduate. And that's actually one of the things that I think is most important because one, when people are starting off, they're always like afraid, how am I going to know what I'm looking at? Or
Yeah.
what if I miss something? It's always that sense of doubt. Even like going into the program, I know a lot of people have that doubt. So coming out of a program, you're still going to have doubt, but your doubt's going to be much less. I think you're going to be more comfortable scanning. You're going to be more comfortable with what you know. And yeah, I like that you said the whole fear thing because I still am like, oh my gosh, I'm still nervous about certain exams or things that come your way, or like when something abnormal is found somewhere, like on a CT or something. Now it makes me have to kind of do a little bit more investigating and try to find it. So there's a lot of things you can do as new grads to help you get more comfortable, and asking for help and asking your questions is going to help you grow. So that's good advice.
Yes.
Yeah,
What would you have for advice now, since you're very, experienced sonographer?
because I'm old. Just
You're
kidding.
not that old. You're just experienced.
Yeah. Um, so what you said is very good. Um, I'd say that take the opportunity to still scan whatever it is that comes your way. Um, Obviously the don't be afraid thing is a good thing, but there are some sonographers out there, not gonna name names, but there are some sonographers out there who just tend to stay away from exams that they're not confident in.
Mhm.
And let's say I'll give an example for myself. In the beginning, I was always afraid of doing like pelvics because what if I like miss something or whatever? Well, the only thing that was holding me back from being better was myself because I was technically trying to not necessarily avoid them, but I knew that like with pelvics and pregnancies, I wasn't that great. And the radiologist always kept calling me on every single pelvic I did or every single OB I did. And for me at the time, I was like, what's wrong with me? Like,
Mhm.
why do they keep calling or messaging or saying something? And while that dampened me at the time, now looking back, that's what helped me grow, and that constructive criticism is what helps you grow. So don't be afraid of exams that you are not confident in. And you get better with time, you get better with practice, you get better with getting those 2 cents from a radiologist or another sonographer or your supervisor. It's to help make you better because how else will you get better if you don't know? If I
Right.
didn't know, like if she didn't call me or if, because there's this one radiologist who calls and is always very particular about certain things. And that's a good thing. You want to have a doctor that's very um, specific and tells you to improve yourself. It has nothing to do with saying like, oh, you're bad at scanning. It was to help improve my skills. And I'd say that would be something that I would say as if I was a new grad, I would want someone to tell me that because it's going to happen. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to take images that are not good. And that's all of us, even people who have been doing this for 15, 20 years. Sometimes we take images that aren't good and we just learn from them and we continue to learn from them. But this is a whole brand new world that you guys are going into where one, you don't have a preceptor or you don't have another sonographer looking at your images for you or telling you what you should do or how to do things. It's all on you now. So build that confidence with time, but it'll come. It'll come with time. You're just a little baby new grad. Yeah, that's what I would have to say.
Yes. And I would say that because you're new, use this opportunity to do all those difficult exams, to do the most difficult ones because that's when I feel like the senior sonographers or like your managers or the doctors are more lenient on you when you make mistakes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because you have that, I mean, it's like you have that cushion because you're like,
Yes.
I'm just learning still,
Yeah. Right.
And
But when you're like years in, they're like they would be like, "Oh, you should have done this,"
right.
you
Like
know.
if you're a 5, 10 year sonographer. So what I was told when I was a new grad was that you're not really comfortable or confident until you hit the 5 year mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I can actually confidently say that because I hit the 5 year mark recently. I'm at 6 years now. And I feel I mean, it's not like so comfortable, but I feel much more comfortable than I did ever before in my career.
Mhm.
I had this scan a few days ago, and it was something that I knew if I was a new grad, I would have been like, what the heck is this?
Mhm.
I would have like, somebody help, help, like try to figure out what it is. But because I've been doing this for so long and I've seen so much and I've scanned so much and I've thought about all the things that I could think about when I scanned this person, it's like, wow, I was much comfortable scanning that patient than I would have been 4 or 5 years ago. And really, it was only just like two large cysts. Like it was this huge complex cyst in the epigastric
Mhm.
region, but then like the whole liver was like consumed by this huge complex cystic structure. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
you know, as the moment I put my probe down, I like scanned around. I'm like, what was that? And I'm like scanning
Mhm.
around. And right now, I feel like for me, knowing that I've been doing this for a long time, I like to do like a not like a, I don't know how to explain this. It's like a pre-scan. So
Mhm.
before I start my protocol, I'm like looking all around real quick because I've been doing this for so long, right?
Mhm.
I'm just looking around in the abdomen region real quick, like, what is this? Like real quick, assessing it. Is it attached to the liver? Is it attached to the pancreas? Is it attached to the kidney? Is it the gallbladder?
Mhm.
So if I was a new grad, I would sit there and be freaking out. you know? So it just shows how much growth I've had from being a new grad to what I am now. But I don't expect you new grads, and we don't expect new grads to feel like that.
Mhm.
We expect you guys to be taking a step back for a second. Like, oh my gosh, what's this? Investigate, you know? And that's okay to do that. And I want new grads to know that that's okay to feel unsure. But now that I'm here 6 years later, I'm like, oh wow, okay, it just cysts. Like, you know? But for anyone that just came out of school, they'd probably freak out a little bit. And that's okay. And
Yeah.
then we're here to tell you that that's okay. As long as you're taking the images, doing your protocols, doing what you do best, which is taking care of the patient and doing your job. That's all you can really do as a new grad. You learn from all of the mistakes you're going to make. You learn from all of the phone calls you're going to get because
Or
it's all,
emails.
yes, or emails. I mean, that's how you guys do, or you
Yes.
guys have done it, right?
Or
And
any types of feedback,
yeah, feedback.
written, verbal, just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of constructive feedbacks.
Yeah. Learn how to take it, and not take it to heart, but just take it,
Mhm.
absorb it, say, okay, I'll remember that for next time. Write it down
Mhm.
even still if you need
Yeah.
to. Um, and it's stuff that you're going to learn so that you will be better as time goes on. And I think another thing to be conscious of is I've seen some posts where some sonographers talked about when they first became sonographers that there was a lot of, I don't know how to say it, like it wasn't good, like the environment wasn't good, or like maybe the doctor or the coworkers or the nurses or something would like belittle you,
Okay. Yeah.
or like the workplace scenario,
Mhm.
right? What would you say to people who have that kind of issue when they're first starting out, especially since they're new? And let's say it's because I know you're all about the workplace environment.
Yes.
So what would you have to say if they were in that situation? For my example is coming out because the person I'm thinking is like Christy DMS. I'm calling out names.
Yes.
You guys, I know you guys all follow her, and if you don't, um, what are you doing? Follow her. But she's one of the big stenographers on YouTube, and she had posted a reel few, I don't know if it was weeks, months back, about
Mhm.
her experience at her first place, and it was really bad. And then I read in the comments, and a lot of people also said that they've experienced bad workplaces. So, Lynn, what would you have to say?
I would say, from personal experience, that since Are you, is this scenarios like this is your first job as a new
Yeah.
grad
Yeah,
and
because
you didn't expect it to this work environment to be
the way that it
that
is.
that bad?
Because some people will take their first opportunity, which you should. You should try to
Yes.
take your first opportunity, learn from it. And I will guarantee majority of people who have their first job, it's not their dream job, but it's
Mm,
just the job that they need to get their foot in the door. A lot of
yes.
the new grads will experience this. So, what do you think?
Um, I think that this job is like just all said, a foot in the door. So, take what you can get from this job, learn as much as you can, and the moment you can leave, leave. Leave for a healthier work environment. Um, but also you have to know yourself, like how much can you handle? Like if the workplace is like really, really bad and it's really toxic to your mental health, um, find a new job immediately. And then you can learn at your next job. Or if you think that you can handle it for a couple of months, do it. Stay there a couple of months, learn as much as you can, and then go to the next one.
Yeah.
Also, find a coworker that you can bond with, you know. You
Mhm.
can have a an outlet to kind of like suffer together, and
Mhm.
that would make it more tolerable.
Yeah.
I was also thinking, I was gonna say that I've heard at my current workplace that they had a lot of new grads who joined and 3 months later they leave because they just want to have the employer's name under their belt as a way for them to move to the next place.
Ah. Mhm.
Have you heard of that?
I think so. I think people do say like, "Hey, I'm gonna get here so I can
So
use
I
this
can,
to move somewhere else." And yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
use this the like the hospital's reputation to be able to get to the next job.
Mm-hmm. And just remember too, like when you are a new grad, you're still learning and you're going to learn from so many people. It's not just that one person who's teaching you anymore or those people who are teaching you in where you had clinicals. Like now it's going to be a completely new world, a new place. If you don't get a job where your clinical was at, it's all going to be completely brand new. But maybe compare it in your brain to what you were doing at your clinical site because
Yeah.
what I did when I worked at different places after my clinical site, I was like, okay, so this is how my clinical site did it, but this is how they do it in their way. But I would compare it to see, make sure like, oh, okay, so I'm supposed to start the exam and then end the exam. That at my clinical site was putting this exam to take in, all a bunch of gibberish that newbies won't understand. But for the new grads who are documenting stuff in your system. Like all of those things, no matter where you work, very similar, where you pick up your patient, how you introduce yourself, you tell them what you're about to do, you thank them, they leave the protocol on how they're going to get the results. All of that is essentially the same wherever you go to work. So Lynn and I work in two completely different departments in two different places, but we probably have the same type of flow or way we get our patients, the way we prep the patients, the way we look up priors, all of
Mhm.
that stuff is very similar. So just take everything you learn from clinical and use it as like your starting point and then
Yes.
learn from the new place that you're at. Um, Not everyone is lucky to get hired at their clinical site and just like go right to getting paid at the same place they were learning at.
Mhm.
So if you do get that opportunity, congratulations, because that's awesome. But just also know that every other place does things slightly different, but very similar. So everything as a new grad is going to be exciting and scary at the same time, but it'll be worth it because now you're making money.
Yes.
and everything, yeah, everything you went through should have helped you with where you're at now and where you're going to be. And just know that you can always contact us on our Instagram and our Discord, on Facebook group if you need any more help, advice, situational things, because we do still do that when people reach out with their stories and they tell their stories. And another example I wanted to share was Natalie Abney, who we've had on recently too, the big TikToker. She actually posted a get ready with me, which explained another toxic environment that she was in before, but it helped her grow. And now she is like a manager of the company or the office or whatever. And she's like another story where you take that situation that you're in when you're a new grad and when you're freshly just trying to figure things out on your own without someone helping you and telling you that there is so much more growth down down the line. And whatever you're about to go through, it's normal. We all go through it. We all have our very, very hard beginning stages, but you're going to get through it because you made it through your program and you graduated and yeah, you're going to see how much fun it is and difficult and stressful to be a sonographer on your own.
Yes. Thank you for that. I think I'm in the middle of that process. So thank you for the encouragement.
You're like, "Ah, I can relate."
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
in right in the middle of that. So let me see when I will get over that.
Eventually you'll
I'll
get
let
over
you
the
know.
hump. Yeah.
Eventually, maybe another 4.5 years.
That seems so long. Well, there's a lot of our students, for example, at my hospital who graduated and then they start to work and things like that.
Mhm.
It you're very much so put into situations that are difficult, but those help you get better. And it
Yes.
makes the easier patients and the easier scans easier.
Yes.
Um, and how are you supposed to know if you don't go through these difficult situations? So it's good to have them. And
Yes,
that's
it is
that's where
very good.
yeah, that's where experience comes from. I've had so many crazy experiences as a new grad, and they definitely built me up to where I'm at right now because now I'm just like, oh, okay. Like
What's your
another
most
thing.
craziest experience?
Well, I guess when I was a brand new person and I worked at this hospital for this one company, they basically didn't really train me. So
Mhm.
I feel like I had to learn a lot of things on my own, which is a very common thing for a lot of places. They don't have time to train people.
Mhm.
So, like, if you go to do traveling ultrasound, for example, they're not there to train you. They're there to have you come in and like just start working.
Yeah.
They'll try to like maybe train you a little bit on their system and then like how they do certain things, but the scanning and everything like that, you should basically know how to do once you graduate. If you're lucky, some places will teach you their protocol or how they do things, but typically they're not looking for that. If you're a new
Mhm.
grad sonographer, they feel like you're ready to scan. So I just had a hard time with trying to figure out how this company did things. And like there was one time where there was a pelvic scan. See, it's pelvics. I'm really bad at OBGYN. But I basically did a transvaginal ultrasound and I saw nothing. Like I inserted the camera,
Mhm.
it's bleeding a lot. I saw nothing. So I just don't know if I did it. Like I'm pretty sure I did it right. You know, I've been doing uh pelvic ultrasounds that whole time I was in clinical. But I really didn't know or didn't see anything. So this place actually didn't really follow up with anything. And I don't know. I to this day I don't even know what happened with that exam. I just like turned it in saying I couldn't see anything.
Oh.
But that was crazy for me because I was a new grad. I'm like, this had never happened to me before. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But I was by myself. It was the middle of the night, and I don't have anyone to ask questions, you know?
Hmm.
So in that situation, like, what do you do? And how do you learn from it? Kind of thing. But yeah, that's like the one thing that stands out to me. It's like I tried, I did everything that I could, and then I moved on. And hopefully that patient figured out whatever was happening to her. I don't know. I have no clue to this day. But that shows
That's
you like
wild.
when you're a new grad, you have those opportunities where you have absolutely no idea what's about to happen or, you know.
And you were alone?
Yep, I was alone. And I still don't know to this day, like, why
Oh
that
my
happened.
gosh.
Like, I am pretty sure I inserted the camera in the correct place. I literally I did it twice when you shouldn't really, but I did and I still couldn't see anything and I don't know. Not sure.
Literally, it was black or it
Yeah, the
was
screen was
distorted?
like, but I could tell I was moving the probe on the
Uh-huh.
screen, but there was literally like nothing. I could see
Like
nothing.
no uterus, no.
Just like completely like I just remember the screen being like so blank and I'm like, what am I looking at? Like what is this? What's wrong?
Did you do a transabdominal too?
Yeah, and I saw
And it was still
nothing.
the, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. Who knows? What about you? Have you had any crazy experiences yet? But I feel like you work
Um,
somewhere, you work day shift, so there's always someone there, right?
there's always someone there.
Yeah.
I have yet to experience that. So I'm not sure how I would react. So like I would be like,
It's like if you put a
I
probe
don't
there,
know
you're looking
what
for
I'm doing.
a carotid artery, and the carotid artery is like completely missing or something. Like that's
Right.
essentially what it would
I
be.
think the closest to if I put the probe down and I don't know well, I know what I'm looking at. Like I'm not sure if I told you, I think 2 weeks ago I did a carotid and the left internal jugular vein was um thrombosed, occluded. Like there was no
Ah,
flow. I couldn't compress it. It's not like something that I don't know, but I the the IJV is always compressing it. It's like it's this big and it's always like this.
yeah.
And I just put the probe down, press down, and the artery compressed, but the vein was just like this.
Oh,
I was
uh-huh.
like, oh my gosh. I always wondered like what would happen if it's thrombosed.
Mhm.
And
That
from,
was it.
the distal to the prox to distal, it was thick and
Yeah,
echoic black. I was like very, very fresh.
yeah.
That was wild.
See, and like for me, if I saw that, I'm like, oh, just a thrombosed vein. But for you, because you're new grad, you're like, wow.
And I've never seen a thrombose IJV. I mean, I've seen thrombose other veins, but because
Yeah.
the IJV is so big, I'm just like, that's chunky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy to see like
It's cool, but I'm like,
things.
oh,
Mm-hmm. And think about it though, in clinicals, like you only have so much time. You're not gonna see all of these weird, abnormal, crazy exams. Like
yes.
in the field and when you graduate is when you guys are gonna see
The
them.
same
And
memory.
and you're gonna see so much in your career and you're still gonna question yourself all the time. It's completely normal. And maybe after 5 years you'll question yourself less, but it still happens.
Oh yeah.
Still
I
happens to this
question
day.
myself every day. I doubt myself every day. But I just suck it up. I go in and I take pictures of what I see and what I don't see and what I don't know, and then I ask questions.
Exactly.
So, for
And
all
that's
of
what gets you.
you who are listening, just keep it up, ask questions. If you don't know, don't be scared to say, I don't know.
Yeah. Hang in there. The way you describe it on your paperwork, obviously don't say I don't know,
Yes.
but describe your not so sureness of whatever you're looking at.
Yes.
So,
And I'm sure you have coworkers or managers that can help you how
oh
to
yeah.
describe in their preferred verbiage on the
Mhm.
reports
Yeah, I
because
still ask my supervisor. I'm like, so what would you say for this one? And he'd be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then I'd be like, okay, cool. There you go. He just did my job.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's a lot of fun, ultrasound. It's challenging, it's rewarding. You guys know you went into it for a reason. Believe in
Yes.
yourself. Congratulations on graduating. And just know that you're going to be just fine.
Yes. And it's not the end of the world if you missed something, you didn't get it. That's how we learn. And next time, you definitely will get it.
Yes. And good luck on your job hunting.
Yes.
And
Good luck.
um, I've got some videos on like resumes or like interviews, tips and tricks like that if you want to see those on the channel. Um, just be yourself and shine and smile and show them why you deserve to be there and why they need you because we need you
Yes.
guys. Trust me. There's like a need for sonographers right now.
Yes, definitely. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Hopefully, there's lots of tips and tricks. I don't think there's any tricks, but lots of tips that you can take away for your next job.
Yep.
We wish you the best of luck with your job hunting and congrats to those who've graduated and to those who have already got the job if you
Yes.
received an offer.
Yes. Congrats, everybody. And we'll talk to you guys on the next episode.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for connecting through sounds with us. We appreciate you and can't wait to connect with you again next time.